Boiler Room is an international music platform. We are basically an online TV station that travels the world and covers all sorts of underground music.
We're in Azerbaijan now, in Baku. This is my first time, our whole crew's first time being here.
If you go outside now, I think it's only about 6:30 already. There's a long queue forming outside.
Geldim biraz özümle vaxt geçirdim.
We've been here for, I don't think more than 12 hours. I think we landed really early at 4 in the morning and yeah, have had a nice breakfast and a nice day and headed straight to the club. And now we're setting up the cameras for the broadcast and slowly getting everything into place. We have 3 cameras we're running tonight for the broadcast. We have the quintessential front shot that's getting the DJ and all of the people that are dancing from behind. So we need to be sure that the whole club is lit and that we can see everybody's faces and get to know a little bit more of the people that are here and partying. And then we have another shot from the back, a wide angle to get the whole space and capturing, yeah. Mikhail is the main curator and he worked with In and they came up with a curated lineup together. We want to focus on the scene here and really not focusing on bringing in international acts to fill up and show our presence. We're guests here. We want to see what's happening and then broadcast that abroad and internationally. So that's a big part of it.
What we do is basically record music, stream it to the world and make sure that as many people worldwide as possible see it, know it and help to shape and grow the culture. We started in a warehouse in London 2010 with 15 live viewers and 30 visitors at the event, and now we have I think about 90 million live viewers a month and have been now in 50 countries, documented over 6,000 artists, generated more than 1 billion views, and all because we love underground music.
Yeah, I was studying musicology in Utrecht in the Netherlands. I'm originally from Chicago and then I moved to study in Europe and then kind of got sick of there being no nightlife there and came to Berlin and met Mikhail. And yeah, we talked about parties and what the Boiler Room is and what it represents, and slowly but surely made my way into the team, starting as a studio manager, assistant, so helping the Berlin team get to where they need to go, and then slowly into event production and running parties here.
So a few years ago, when I went the first time to Tbilisi, to Georgia, I met the team behind In Club, and they told me about the emerging scene, what was happening, but also how electronic music here, as so often throughout the history of electronic music, shaped a little bit a cultural revolution amongst the youth, providing both a space for new ideas, a space for new identities, a space to live culture in a way that was not possible before. And this is, I think, for me personally, one of the aspects that I find strongest about electronic music, that it is not only, aesthetics, that it's not only party, but it's actually way more driven by the community.
Tədbir barədə düşünmürəm. Tədbir barədə çoxlu emosiyalar yaşayıram, sözünüzü. Gəlməyim o qədər bəlli deyil, dünən bəlli olub. Çox həyəcanlıyım, bilirəm ki, doğrudan çox həyəcanlıyım. Sonuçta çünki önəmli və ciddi ekiblərin, komandaların bizim şəhərdə, bizim evimizdə tədbir keçirtməsi, birlikdə olması məncə çox şeydən danışır. Deməli, hər şeyi bugünə qədər düz eləyirmişik biz ki, lazım olan diqqəti də aldıq. Qiyməti bugün yayın verəcəklər. Amma əminəm ki, partladacağıq da, partladacağıq.
I think this really is a good example of how the British Council works. So we're here to connect people, we're here to make links, and we're here to creating opportunities. So we hope that this is the first time that we're collaborating with Boiler Room and In Club, and certainly won't be the last time. And tomorrow we are also going to deliver some training together with Boiler Room for people in the music industry, in the clubbing scene in Azerbaijan, hopefully give people some more ideas on how to better link to the international standards and to the international development of music, and sharing and learning from that UK experience.
One of our main interests at Boiler Room is not only to document music, but also to provide visibility for such communities. So the moment I heard what's happening here and slowly, started to check out the DJs, see a couple of, shots from the parties, I knew that we need to come here, because I think that the scene in Baku is at a very interesting critical momentum where I think it will spiral into something really, really, really impactful, both in terms of culture, but also to provide a lot of kids opportunities to live or look at life in a way that they weren't able before, because this just did not exist. And the beautiful thing about that is that it's a global community. If you start raving in Baku, there's a connection between the kids in Tbilisi, the kids in Berlin, but even all the way, you can go to Kunming in China and you'll find the same spirit. And to document that and to connect the dots, this is what we're here for tonight.
Bu yeri haqqında bir neçə dəfə eşitmişdim, amma yaxşı fürsət oldu ki, bir gün gəldik bura. Hamıya belə xoş təəssürat arzulayıram və hiss edirəm ki, elə də olacaq.
I'm most looking forward to the opening act, Isfar. I think he's the only one that's playing live tonight, and yeah, we walked in knowing he was a pianist, but he has a full open-faced piano and a keyboard, and yeah, as he was sound checking, it's incredible. He's very, very talented, and that was it's that little intro to the rest of the party night that's going to make it super special. So I think that's going to be really nice.
Это было лет 6 лет назад, может даже больше, может 7, да. И как-то я услышал сет электронной музыки с Boiler Room. И так получилось, что я заинтересовался этой музыкой, хотя до этого я скептически относился к этому, и мне было не так интересно, но я вообще в своей карьере стараюсь развиваться и стараться слушать разную музыку, и поэтому как-то я постепенно пришел к тому, что пришло время и начать играть и сочинять в этом стиле. Ну и вот проходит 6 лет, и теперь Boiler Room в Baku, и я играю сет. Это невероятно.
Boiler Room is, as much as, we put together a music program quite often, we're nerds, I do what I do professionally, and I'm a professional fanboy, 8 hours a day I'm listening to music, trying to find new music. So sometimes, we kind of pick the artist, but in this particular case, it was very important for us to let the scene themselves decide, who are the people that we want to put forward, who are, the people who've been pushing us sound, who've been working their ass off to pull this all together. So together with In Club, I think we created a really nice, crosscut between, young talents, a couple of established acts, and I think that will show. One thing that I was personally a little bit disappointed by, or I think that is a lot of improvement, I was quite surprised to see so little female DJs in Baku. There's a lot of amazing talents, but I think that it's going to change, that it's going to be more inclusive, and it's going to be way more diverse, and especially also the opportunity for young women who are interested in electronic music to come more and more to step up and just do their thing as well. But this is, I think, a good goal for the next show we're going to do here.
Не, на самом деле, что я здесь наряду со всеми просто участвую в этой организации. Это очень важный день для нас всех на самом деле, потому что все-таки Boiler Room достаточно крупный и достаточно классный проект, и известный во всем мире. неожиданно, что наш клуб не проработал еще даже год, этот последний, и уже у нас подвернулся такой шанс, чтобы провести такое классное мероприятие. Да, я благодарна всей команде, с которой я работаю, потому что я на самом деле горжусь, что работаю с такими людьми. Благодарна Boiler Room за то, что они проявили интерес такой к нам. И надеюсь, что все будет классно. Это все делается для нашего города и для нашей страны, на самом деле.
И тот же самый ведущий, да, именно он был тогда на том сете, в том сете, и я услышал и увидел, думаю, вот круто проходят эти тусовки, мероприятия, это красиво все снимается, ну и вот сегодня это в Баку, и я исполняю, это здорово, и остальные ребята все играют, и я думаю, что это большая победа для Азербайджана, для азербайджанской электронной музыки.
In terms of expectations, we really didn't know much except, you know, what you can look up online when you prepare for a trip. You know, we knew that the city is stunning, and to be honest, when I arrived yesterday, we arrived late at night, 4 in the morning, so it's all lights, you know, it's this magnificent architecture coming at you. Baku makes Berlin look like a dog's ass. I mean, I love Berlin, but this city is stunning. So our expectations were, you know, it's a hard question. I mean, what would I expect? I know that I'm gonna meet kind people, because that's the beauty of club culture. You never meet like awful people in the club, not like very few, you know. So more curious about to see. The beauty of my job is to watch people dance, you know, something that I really enjoy. Just like to see, you know, what kind of different, you know, styles people adapted. Is it like a more like European, you know, shuffle, or is there something even regional in it, which sometimes you even have, you know, when you go, for example, to Indonesia, the kids dance there are highly influenced by like regional dance styles. So this is something in terms of expectations that I'm quite looking forward to curiously, but also want to see how ecstatic people get when the moment is right, you know, when the bass hits and when everybody just feels on a level. So the only expectation I have is that after this, more of the world will know that they have to come here to play or just to see what's happening and to connect.
Dizayneram, arxitektoram, yəni 3D qrafika ilə məşğul olurdum. Sonra Avropaya köçəndə gördüm ki, uşaqlar belə bir şeylər eləyir ki, nəyi mən eləyirdim, amma başqa bir sfera üçün demək olar ki. Gördüm ki, nəyi bilirəm, onu başqa bir в другом направлении могу это использовать просто. Başlamışam belə vizuallar yığmağa, cürbəcür belə balaca eventlərdə iştirak eləyirdim. Sonra işıqla maraqlandım. Sonra hamısını birləşdirdim. Yəni belədir. Axırda gəldim Bakıya 1 aylıq, amma yenə də başladı işləməyə. Yəni məni çağırıblar işıqçı kimi, yəni vizual artist kimi, yəni light artist kimi. Уже burada qaldım mən o gün.
I'm fully aware that from a pop cultural perspective, electronic music is quite often associated with two things: excessive hedonism and drugs. Funny enough, even though I've been going to clubs myself since I'm 15, 20 years, I've not ever touched a single drug in my life. It's not part of what pulled me into the club scene was the community, was the fact that people are accepting of whatever you choose to be. They're there for you, you know. This is the space to be that person, you know. And I was like a fucking chubby Russian weirdo kid who just didn't have any friends, and then I went to a drum and bass party, and all of a sudden there was this beautiful world of beautiful people. And electronic music is really not about hedonism. Of course, when people want, and you must also understand that the club offers quite a lot of people on the weekend the one freedom that they don't have in their everyday life, because even though, you know, we look at cities like Berlin, we look at cities like London where people have a lot of freedom, you know, you earn quite a lot, you know, it's fairly okay to live there, so you can party more often. But for many communities, you know, they're stuck in jobs because they have to make a living that are, you know, quite mundane, you know, office jobs. They struggle in many other ways, and the club gives them the freedom to be themselves, to be, you know, healthy and happy. And this drives people to clubs, not the drugs. You know, people do drugs no matter what, you know. There's, you know, people get drunk during the daytime because alcohol is a legal drug, you know. But ultimately, I've never experienced in 20 years of clubbing that anywhere the drugs are the main driver of the culture. It might be part of it, but this is something that on a global societal level always finds its way into society. You know, you cannot blame that on that clubs only because they are dark and the kids are listening to weird music, you know, running all around like Pac-Man, that facilitates drug abuse. Actually, if you look at how legal highs harm our society, that's way worse than, you know, some kids maybe getting high because the bass drum is good, you know. I think, but it's also I think also, which is very important, responsibility both of clubs but also of authorities, is to educate young people about what, if they do it, what happens and how to do it safe. And there've been, you know, models in Netherlands, in Germany, in UK, across, you know, the long history of electronic music, where it's proven that this is the way safer way to get kids, you know, to be responsible and to avoid, you know, any situations that might be harmful, both to the culture but also to the health of the people who decide to do drugs.
Əslində heç fikirləşmirdim ki, Boiler Room'da işıq eləyə bilərəm, belə iştirak eləyə bilərəm belə bir hissə kimi, yəni çox maraqlı bir experience-dir çox.
Ну, конечно, не совсем, это понятное дело. Я думаю, что я изначально готовился очень долго, но, к сожалению, были кое-какие проблемы в плане техники, и у меня было не очень много времени для подготовки, но, опять же, это происходит. Бывает такое, когда от такого, как бы, бывает хуже, и музыка получается не совсем такая, какой ты хочешь, чтобы она прозвучала, но...
Но энергетика какая была? Ты получил отдачу?
Да, это было очень интересно. Это было очень интересно, когда... То есть я никогда не выступал, точнее, у меня были экспириенсы, но вот на данный момент в Boiler Room это такая вот массовое событие, и это была очень крутая энергетика. Спасибо людям, спасибо, что поддерживали, и так приятно встретить.
I mean, Boiler Room is, of course, not the only thing that I do. I mean, it takes up a big part of my life for 8 years now. That's been pretty much the majority what I've been doing. But besides, you know, also running or curating a music festival in Berlin, I also have been over the last few years trying. You know, the beauty of underground music culture is when you travel, especially so much, you see what unites people at the core of, you know, their values. It's not the differences that you see first, you realize how much in common, especially young people who are engaged in the electronic music community, have together. So what I've been trying to figure out with a couple of, you know, friends and like-minded people is how we can utilize those vast networks that exist across underground music to make it into a more concrete social movement that takes responsibility for each other and for society beyond the club. Because there's one thing if it's, you know, a community that cares for each other in a non-space like a club. You know, a club is a non-space. You step out of society and you're in a club. And you have to take responsibility for each other in that space. But I think the strength of club music is that the kids globally are by values united in a way that you can make something much bigger out of it that will positively impact people who don't have access to club culture. Because ultimately being able to club is also a privilege. You know, it's an incredible privilege to be, you know, young and healthy and wealthy enough to be able to spend your nights like that. And I think that privilege should be extended by the music community and by the underground music community into all of society. And that's one of my main drivers outside of Boiler Room at the moment, to set something up that allows that on a global scale.
Я надеюсь, что с сегодняшнего дня мы будем идти еще дальше вверх в плане развития электронной музыки. Не только электронной, вообще всей музыки в Азербайджане, так как сложно. Все дается сложно, профессионализм, участие в помещении, где это исполнять. Но мы на правильном пути. И спасибо большое всем ребятам, кто над этим работает. Спасибо.
For me, IN is like a big family, like biggest family in my life. И лучше я ничего не встречал в своей жизни. Я очень рад, что являюсь частью команды, и мы всегда будем продолжать так же, в том же духе. Так что всегда вперед!